Everybody, it is I, the Claude Bawles, with just a very short show here tonight. Um, Unfortunately, the very brave folks at the Proverbs Guy Ministries have me blocked. They did allow me to come on today, very briefly, to give some sort of a pitch as to why I shouldn't be blocked. It made me feel like some naughty schoolboy, which of course I am not. The main thing is I've dared to disagree with some of what their hosts say. And then, even despite being allowed to go on, I also get blocked while I am speaking, and then find that the comments I'm making to defend myself have also been blocked. So it's just, it's like the Salem witch trials of old. Anyway, so I just thought I would have no choice but to address some of the issues on my own show, where, of course, these people who do not believe in truth, they might say they do, but they only pay lip service to it, then they cannot step in and block me as I am trying to make a very important point. Let's see, for a start, what they say on the show. We're going to look at a few extracts, and I'm going to have a bit of a commentary to say something about each of those. This is an open panel. Remember, it's an open panel on Proverbs Guy. That's what it says, and all are welcome. You hear him sort of try and get round that later by saying, "Oh, most are welcome." Well, if most are welcome, why not say so? Why don't say that instead of saying all are welcome, which of course is patently and provably untrue. Anyway, let's have a look at this, and we're going to listen to a few things, and I will be jumping around the video a bit and making some comments. Here we go.
We're not doing this for money at all. We want.
Oh, that's very interesting, because down the bottom of the screen, when I actually go and look at them more, they're not doing it for money at all. But oh my goodness, there it is, the link for PayPal for Mr. Berlin, and some sort of cash app for Stephen Andrew Bow. I presume it is Bolin as well. But of course, they're not doing it for money. So, well, you can judge for yourselves.
The word to go out. In none of our shows has anyone asked for anything. We need to save as much as we can.
So it's important to listen to that. Our show and we. It comes important later on in this to remember this, our show and we. So this Achilles appears to be very involved, despite what he might say on another channel. Let's carry on.
And help us do it. Thank you for being around.
Amen. Glory to God.
Glory to God.
Is the show over now, guys? The live stream? So I'm going to go for this. It's about dinner time for me.
Oh, is it?
I mean, if you guys want to hang around. Yeah. I mean, I can hang a little more if you guys are hanging around, got more scripture or something you want to talk about.
Did you want to do the Claude thing, or did you cancel that, or what?
No, I'm going to give him a 5 minutes to come make his case if he's still out there. But Hart, I do wish, even if you stayed quiet, that you would stay. Seth, I'd love for you to stay too, but
no, I don't give in to threats and all that and forcing. I don't like people forcing themselves on me. So I'm gonna go, guys.
Well, it's good that you don't like people forcing themselves on you. I would never force myself on anybody, but the threats bit, that's a bit of an exaggeration there. I would like to hear where I threatened anybody, let alone you. This is bizarre sort of territory we're in.
I'll talk to you brothers later.
all right, love you, man.
All right. Good night. Love you all. Good night.
All right.
I'll stick around and give them the response if they don't watch it.
All right, I'll mute myself and just enjoy other Jew.
Well, don't mute.
Okay, so here we go. We're going to mute himself and let others have a go, which is quite proper because he's dominated the show so far. But let's see if he can manage to keep that okay, we're going to skip forward to about 147.10, where they make some more, very interesting allegations. Yeah, I don't know why Mr. Stump had to leave. He was worried about threats from me. I've never threatened him at all. I would
I
like
don't
to know
think
what he
it's
thought.
worried about threats as much as he just doesn't care much for your company.
Well, that's what he said. But anyway, no point
I
in
mean,
arguing about
it's
that.
yeah, it's a personal.
Yeah, well, he could
It's
say, I don't want to
subjective,
come
right?
on for... No, threats are threats. I've never threatened anybody.
It's very clear that he doesn't want to conversate
Yeah.
and be around you. It's very clear. I don't think he's
Yeah,
threatened by you, so don't even.
That's fine if
I
he
don't
doesn't
think
want
it's.
to
I don't think it's fair to even say he's threatened by you. He's not threatened by you. He just doesn't want anything to really do with conversating with you.
Conversating with me, I'm French, but I have the French ancestry, but I don't know what to conversate with somebody actually means. But oh well, carry on further.
But
Conversating, yeah.
Well, Claude, I promised you 5 minutes for you to make an
Well,
appeal, and
yeah.
I'm baffled. You don't seem to like our channel very well,
No,
or any of our hosts, and I'm just baffled at why you're so fixated on being able to come hang out if you just have such a dislike for us.
Okay, so I go on to say that it's the principle of the matter, because unlike some of these other people, I do have principles, and the principle is that if it says open panel and all are welcome, I read that and I think, okay, if I wish to go on, I can go on, but no, I can't. So, and actually, I do make the point, later, if it was a Bible study, maybe I don't necessarily want to go on, but it's called a matter of principle here, and this principle seemed to be sadly lacking amongst some of the speakers. Apparently, if I go forward to 156, 59, 159, I have offended multiple hosts. I don't know what they mean by that.
This is along the same lines as what Proverbs guys said.
You're breaking up. You're breaking up.
So you're trying to bring into here you're in here in this panel, a Christian panel, a Bible study on Sunday to Christians. That's their Sabbath day. I'm a Jew. Saturday's my Sabbath day. But beside the point, I'm here to tell you as a Jew, all right, on a Christian panel, that Proverbs guy is absolutely right. What you're bringing in here is also religion. It is not science in any way, shape, or form. You're trying to tell people that a goddamn chicken that lays eggs, all right, is the ancestor, is the descendant of a Tyrannosaurus Rex, with no proof in any way, shape, or form of any kind. It is called a scientific theory for a reason. And it's state mandated, not just here in the United States of America, but it is a state mandated religion in several countries.
Well, I asked the question, of course, which countries is it a state-mandated religion? And of course, it would be very interesting to hear this person come back with an answer to that. I suspect, like many things, I will never get one. A very bizarre sort of commentary from this Skylar, and I actually don't know what point he was actually making. And I comprehend normal English very well, actually. So anyway, we'll go on a bit further. Now, this here, where that's out, lead up to this bit.
No faith. I've never said to anybody in here that they need convert to anything.
Oh, Claude did. I just want to say.
Yeah,
that
I'm talking about Claude in the first place, anyways.
I rest my case.
I rested my point then. So
Yeah, that would be good because you've had a lot to say. Perhaps you can let us, the rest of us, say something.
I actually haven't spoken at all, Mr. Claude.
Yeah, but you said you weren't going to.
Oh no,
I mean, I've got. Yes, you did. It's here on the recording.
I have some power here, so you don't get to talk right now. I talk. So all I wanted to say is that after what Sky O'Brien said, I have nothing to add. So go ahead, Mr. Claude, speak.
Yeah, well, of course, you just had to say something. And but what is this state-sponsored religion you're talking about, Mr. Orion? And you
Evolution.
mentioned, yes, and you say I come in here on a Sunday, the holy day. You know what the title of the show was? Open mic. All welcome. Okay, actually, open panel more welcome, but it means the same thing. But I thought it would be interesting to play that so that you have a bit of an idea what I'm up against. The great thinking powers that I'm up against on the show, and of course, for Mr. Achilles to say he hadn't said anything, you listen to the first part of the show. He's talking all the time. He did say he would mute himself. He changed just to make a silly point. Just to make a silly point, because he is a moderator of this channel. Oh, this is going to become a little bit interesting as we proceed. Let's go to 2 minutes and 5 and have a little bit of a listen here. See what's going to come up. Can't always get the exact spot.
As well, I did say I yielded my point after you said that, just to be fair.
Oh, yeah. But what I'm saying is you got to understand how many times Claude is way disrespectful. Very disrespectful. Says comments that are just very not. I'm not even talking politically correct. I mean, you're wanting to join a panel of Christians and call them retarded and all sorts of stuff.
When did I do that? Come on, give me an
Dude,
example. Okay, so here's another classic, another lie. I did not call any of them retarded ever. But of course, they won't face up to their lies. They try and change the topic, or they mention other things that maybe I said, maybe I didn't. But another direct lie.
Last night,
Retarded. No, I
just
didn't.
last night.
He's got a bit of the screams like the Dustin. I suppose he is. He wouldn't be by any chance. They are different people. No.
I don't recall him ever saying that.
Yeah, no. It's just wrong. And this is what you do, unfortunately. You exaggerate, you make false claims, and then accuse me of being the liar.
You do tend to call us naive and
Calling you naive. So maybe I did call them naive. It's quite different to call someone naive than retarded. Let's admit it. But no, they won't admit their lies. So wait a minute. That's different from what you just
you
said.
call us naive and easily taken advantage of and don't have proper grasp of intelligence. We're not.
Well, I'll leave you to be the judge of whether he has a proper grasp of intelligence. I can't possibly comment. I just pay the clip.
We're not intelligent enough to think to ourselves, so we have to listen to.
So
You say that
stupid.
You say that we're minions to the ultimate force of evil in the universe. Like,
Not
you think
true.
that we
What
serve
I
an
say
entity.
is that you have a father who is the father of lies, and he is Satan. So you unknowingly or unwittingly serve his agenda. That's
what I said, though. That's what I just said, is that you say that we serve an entity that you would consider worse than Adolf Hitler and Joseph Stalin and Mao Zedong, all combined and then some.
All right.
You think that we're serving something that's that
Yes.
horrible, and you're going to say that it's silly that we say that. Well, not even we, actually. This is Claude's words, because I've never called you naive. But the fact that he did call you guys naive, I mean, this is entirely my opinion, obviously, but I don't see how that's necessarily going over the line. I've heard things that
There was other words. There was other words. I just can't think of them off the top of my head.
Oh, here we go. Just other words. Just can't think of them off the top of my head. That's something you'll hear a lot on this channel, particularly from Achilles. You've now heard it from Lupin as well. When asked to provide examples, they just can't think of them at the moment. They're always going to come back with these examples. Well, I challenge them to. I know they can't, because some of the things they state I've never said, and I've never called them or anybody retarded.
The thing is, guys, it's very simple. From the last time that atheists like that were allowed here,
Oh, atheists like that were allowed here. Oh, goodness. Oh, not that kind of atheist, Mr. Achilles.
We have managed to touch so many issues that people like Sky O'Brien and Ryan can drive their cars and listen to the Bible. If you want to call this an echo chamber, okay, but we call it studying. So if I had to have somebody here that will call me a cult all the time and I can't completely
Okay, so somebody here, obviously me, who is calling him a cult. Okay, that's the next accusation. Right? Let's listen to how he gets around that.
study, then he's not helping the cause and it's not personal.
Well,
I
when
think you
did I
guys
ask
having
you?
a
When did I
serious-
call
go
you a
ahead,
cult? Yeah, when did I call you a cult? Now,
Almost
yeah,
every
yeah,
time.
Big Bad
No,
Mama
I
calling
didn't.
us a cult yesterday and calling Steve.
Okay, so now the other guy jumps in and says Big Bad Mama has called someone a cult, but you can never get to the bottom. This Achilles, he says this, that, he says the other, and he never provides the proof. And of course, he can't say that I called him that because I never did. So, unbelievable double standards here.
Calling us Hovindites and
Wait a minute,
Exactly,
It was me. It was
exactly.
supposed to be me that called you a cult, and I've never called you a cult.
I'm
You
pretty
do
sure
that.
we agreed with it.
You
But
do
let
it
me
all
have-
the time.
So here goes. He's doubling down. So I challenge Mr. Achilles to prove that's what I said. It should be easy. He could easily find it. If I've said it, I don't delete anything. All my videos are up. All the other people, to my knowledge, put their videos up too. So let's challenge him to do that, or to admit he was telling a lie.
All
No,
the
he did
time.
not.
You are saying that we are results of the cult.
Why not
Which
just
is Ken
own up
Hovind.
to it and say, hey, yeah, I have done that and I apologize. Why
Yes.
is that so hard?
That's because well, you can't apologize for something you haven't said, as that you will now hear from me. I haven't, but I can tell you, if we're going to go down this line, Mr. Achilles, the other day you were on a show, I think it was the Father Charles, and you were asked, you were part of the Proverbs guy, and you distanced yourself from it. It was a bit like Peter denying Christ, and then, and then you weren't.
Heart of flesh.
You were no
hand slap.
longer. Wait a minute. You were no longer.
He's been dealt with.
You no longer
It's
had a
over.
wrench. You were no longer a moderator, and then you pulled the moderator card and muted me earlier. So there is proof of something even on this show
I
to
didn't-
show what
can
you
you-
are like. You
can
pulled
you
the
please-
moderator card.
I will give you time to please speak
Well, thank
English
you.
and say that again. I didn't understand.
I didn't understand anything either.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
agree.
To be
Okay.
fair, guys, it's very hard for an Australian to fake a French accent. So let's just give him some
Don't be
space
so
here,
xenophobic.
okay?
He's a New Zealander faking
New
a French
Zealand,
accent. Okay.
Australia, same tomato.
Okay. I'm not going to tell
Tasmania.
you to put another shrimp on the barbie, like in Australia, mate. But the other day,
Uh-huh.
on Father Charles' channel, Art of Flesh, you were asked about your association with this channel, and you tried to distance yourself from it. And oh yes, you had been a moderator once, but you didn't know how you got it, and then it was all very. And then today,
Where?
Yes, I will find it for you.
Where
It's on the Father
have I?
Charles
No.
channel.
Wait.
Yes.
Where have I been a moderator and when on Father Charles' channel? I never.
No,
was
on this channel. Yes, so if I did say Father Charles' channel, it was a mistake. The moderator, what I meant to say, was a moderator on this channel, the Proverbs guy. That was what I meant to claim, and that is exactly what Mr. Achilles is. And he was challenged about it on another show, and he said, "Oh, once again, you never get a direct answer from these people. My apologies if I switched the two channels in what I meant to say." But it is very difficult, especially when you've got people who are one day Achilles, then they're Art of Flesh, and then they're Bits and Bobs, always changing their names, and so I can get confused there. But the main principle of this still stands, that Art of Flesh or Achilles or whatever he's calling himself that day did distance himself from this channel, and then today he pulls the moderator card again and shuts me up, for my say, on a part of a show where he is going to mute himself and keep quiet, but he just can't help himself. Anyway, we've probably heard enough of this show. We'll just go a little bit further. No,
I think I know what he's referring to. I think I know what he's referring to. I didn't understand the whole story though.
You said, "Oh no, I'm not associated with Proverbs guy in any close way. I'm not. I don't. I got the moderating wrench, but oh no, I don't know how that had happened." So you went into all that, and then today you pull that on me when I'm speaking, and you say I'm going to use my powers on this channel to shut, you up. So you are really quite full of it, aren't you?
Okay. Well,
yeah, I would say that's a good description. He is full of it. Okay, so if we just go back to another show, let's just have a look what happens on that show, and that is the show by Father Charles, Response to Super Academia Material, and that is a very interesting one, and we'll just see what because coming on this show is none other than Achilles, or once again he's calling himself Art of Flesh here as well. Let's have a listen. Okay, I'm going to have to start that little bit again because you couldn't hear. So let's go to the sharing of the screen, and this should be a lot better this time. I'm going to click the tab up, and here we go. 107. Okay.
atheists, and I spend all my life with them. Like everywhere I go outside, there will be atheists everywhere.
Oh my goodness! Oh, what horrible! There's atheists everywhere. Oh, I don't know how he survives.
And I will spend time with them.
In case you didn't hear, Flesh, I defended you. That you said if that's my calling,
I did.
and you
did.
prayed for me and wish me the best with the atheist.
I did, sir, but I continued that statement there, and Dustin is a witness. And I told you that allowing some atheists, like somebody who has dedicated their lives in destroying other atheists or others, other Christians, or others who will go around anything and talk for hours and with
Imagine an atheist who wants to question Christians. I certainly don't wish to destroy them. I certainly don't like Mr. Hovind, but there's plenty of reasons for that. It just so suddenly destroying. Let's see what he says a bit further.
don't preach the gospel to
Oh yes, and talks for a long time. That's one of the funniest things I've heard.
don't speak. If we don't preach the gospel to them, that doesn't mean we are calling them to the truth, because something might happen to them tomorrow. Spending
That's right.
time.
Okay, well, let's go on a little bit further, because this is all, of course, a certain person talking. You can go back and listen to this for yourselves if you can stomach it. Right, this is the next more important bit coming up now.
That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, Hart, you were up next, buddy. Go ahead.
I will accept that, but you have to give me credit that all I know is what happens in public. Okay, I don't understand what can be going. I am from Greece. I am actually not really related with the Proverbs Guy Ministries.
Okay, so he's not really related with the Proverbs Guy Ministries. Interesting.
I just know them as much and as long as I know the rest of you in here. Okay, so I just arrived at a place, which is the US, where you all have your cell phones and you can communicate with each other.
Interesting. Yes. So he just arrived. Oh, he distanced himself from them, but that's not true. He's a moderator.
I cannot be there, but I have seen with my own eyes things that I don't agree with, which are somebody saying something which is completely false, and the other side agreeing with him publicly. So
Can you give
with
an
that,
example?
Yeah, what's
He's asked for an example of this claim, and let's see what he says.
the example?
oh, there are a lot in previous shows because our friend here, Aiden, has the tendency to start on A, and by the
Yeah,
time
we've
he
heard that
gets,
1,000 times before. What's an actual example, though?
I'm just saying that you have the tendency to go from, in order to go from A to B, you go to Z first, and you come all the way back. And this is what Lupin was trying to point out, like today.
That's the only
And
real point that you guys have against me, though. You don't actually have a
Well-
point against the content
well,
of what I'm saying.
Yeah, so very interesting. So instead of coming up with an example, Achilles goes on a sort of a running around, dodging the question. Well, it's not a surprise to me, but it's not very good.
You have a
well,
point. Well, no, hold on. You don't have a point against the content of what I'm saying. You have a point against the way that I present that content, and that's not an actual argument. All
No,
right,
there
how
are-
I present my points is not indicative of whether or not those points are false. But it seems like you guys conflate those two things very, very often. So please actually give us an example of what you're talking about, because you made a claim. Please provide evidence for your claim.
there are so many examples that if I
I
go
think
back,
it's fair that you give an example, please.
Yeah, there are so many examples. Well, give one. Okay, let's see.
There's so
I'm asking
many.
you, please give an example. Just one.
I have personally, with my own ears, with my own judgment and discernment, have heard.
Oh, so his example is something he claims to have heard. Really? Come on, you have to do a bit better than that. Looks like you've been caught out.
Misconceptions on the gospel being spread as a response. I have heard it myself. Now,
Can you
to get-
name the misconception, please?
I
Because
Oh, that's good. Faithful is right onto it here. So now ask them to name it. Let's hear.
I've
I
never
will ha-
heard Aiden do that.
my dear, I will have no. Aiden has his views, but a response to those views is not the gospel. It's not the true about the gospel. So
But the
that's what I'm.
response was
That's what I'm
not coming
saying.
from Aiden. Is that what you're saying?
What? Yes, and what I'm trying to
Okay.
point out, what I'm trying to point out with that is that we are supposed to be with atheists, but we are supposed to help them see the truth.
Help them see the truth. That's a pretty foreign concept to someone who doesn't seem to be able to answer a direct question, makes a claim, and then runs when asked for the evidence. All he had to do was give an example of the many that he alleged were there, but not one. Oh well, let's go on to here. This bit.
His problem, and you weren't accepting
No,
it.
he
You were
wasn't
like,
honest. He was telling
were-
lies, Achilles.
no, he
and I
was
called him
saying.
out, and so he
You
left.
remember me defending you at that day, right?
Yeah,
Remember
I'm
me?
kind of wondering what happened to that version of Achilles.
Okay, no,
So this is to do with something that someone called Stump has said, and yeah, well, we've already met him already tonight. A bit hard to understand, but anyway, we'll try.
no, it's the same person, but he will, the same person that you see is gonna be with the truth. And-
Achilles defended me as well in the presence of Lord Stump. Yes.
but
Lord,
I don't like that because
Yes, he doesn't like it because Stump is his very good friend, and he can overlook all the things he claims other people do. If Stump does it, somehow it's okay. My goodness, what a man this Achilles is.
Because he doesn't see, he's not like that, but
He thinks
everybody
the
has
show is the
let
tabernacle.
me restate
everybody
my
everybody has a
statement.
different calling. Everybody has a different calling.
Achilles,
Yes, some are called to tell lies, I suppose.
he's defended me during the meeting I had with Stump that Dustin was also privy to. And I
I
did appreciate Achilles' courage at that meeting, because what he's saying, what happened there between me, him, Dustin, and Stump is truthful.
I did also defend Christian that day, but what is happening now, I need to defend him. I think he is correct. And why? Not on what he has against Christian, but on the fact that I was there when he privately rebuked him. And Christian did not
When you say
see
rebuke, do you mean stormed out of the meeting the minute we questioned him?
Very good point. Very good point. Oh, but let's see what Mr. Achilles has to say in response to this.
Because that's what actually happened.
Okay, but I did see the same response from your side, so I understand that if
Response, yes, response.
response, yes, indeed, but
Correct.
I didn't hear like if I get called out by you for something,
Well, it's this weird
my
false
first
equivocation,
reaction,
like, oh,
my
well, we're all
first
doing the same thing. We're not.
my
He was the one making accusations.
my first reaction would not be to completely be that no, you are wrong. I would want to
But
hear.
Achilles, that's because I
I-
wouldn't start saying things like you're a girl and you're a false brother. I wouldn't do that, Achilles, because I actually am your brother.
He did apologize for that. I remember that. He apologized. He said, "Yes, I went over the line and completely take that back."
And has since
Before
then
before
tried to
you
turn
left
other
the room.
people against me. So that's a real problem.
Okay, so now the truth starts to come out again. So when faced with a barrage of evidence, Mr. Achilles has no choice but to somehow give a bit of a half-hearted acknowledgement to the actual truth. My goodness, this is proving to be so interesting. Let's go on a bit further.
Well, if you want me to say why, I can.
I
But
know why. I just told you why. I'm not talking about why y'all decided
no,
this. I'm talking about what it really is.
It is not that.
No, it is that. Yes, it is.
It is not Stump's ego. No, no.
Yes, it is.
It is the fact. It is the fact that it is. I could accept as a 40-year-old to have people mocking me and one of my friends not rebuking them.
But that never happened,
somebody-
though, Achilles. That never.
Okay, so it's pointed out to Achilles that that's what he just accused has never happened. Where does he go then?
For some, he did.
No,
He
show
did.
me the example because I think you're lying. It never happened.
I'm being honest in
Then
what
show
I
me
see.
the example. The videos are recorded, Achilles.
This is wonderful. The videos are recorded. He's asked to show an example, and of course he can't because he's not telling the truth.
The example was here, and
But
you
what is
remember.
the example, Achilles? What's the
You
example?
rem-
Because I challenged Stump on this, and then he left the meeting because he didn't have an example.
You remember that at that night.
No, I don't remember it. That's the problem.
At that night, you will remember if you allow me to say it. At that night, I was telling him that you were not mocking him. You were throwing completely different jokes, and what you were doing was trying to break the ice.
I
Do
was
you
not
remember
even present when they mocked him, if they mocked him.
that?
You're the one that looked up the timestamp and proved that during the meeting.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And so, of course, when challenged, you just dodge all around the subject or you change the topic to something else. I think it's interesting, just before we close, just to go another couple of little bits and pieces. This is quite a bit through. It's an interesting video to listen to if you've got a few hours to spare. That's how long it would take to get through it. But let's have a look here about what Mr. Achilles says. I'm not criticizing this. I just find this very interesting.
Last thing I want to do is hear you give more accusations about him and about others. So I
Who
would
is that
rather.
man?
Claude, have you seen
No,
his channel?
no. Who is the most important man in Christianity?
after Jesus, of course,
Okay, who?
Dr. Hovind.
So, Mr. Hovind actually is the most important man in Christianity after Jesus, says Achilles.
That's what I figured. That is
Okay.
exactly what I figured.
Okay. Why do you have you seen his work before his channel?
I have a personal. I've been on his compound for eight. I was on his compound for 8 months.
Okay. Okay.
I personally like I personally like Kent Hovind. I don't like a lot of the things that he does, nor a lot of the putrid doctrine that he preaches. And if you are a follower of his, you are following the wrong person.
Do you think he's a pedophile?
I never said he was a pedophile.
Claude does.
Oh, Achilles is getting a bit angry there. Claude does. Well, Claude doesn't and has never made any such claim. So here we go. I'm challenging Achilles to show where I ever said that. And of course, I didn't. Oh my goodness. This man, he certainly digs a hole. He reaches rock bottom and somehow manages to go even further into this web of deceit. It's very, very unfortunate. Okay, so I never said that about him at all. But then it gets very interesting because Faithful then keeps going, and I think it's wonderful. Here we go.
Out Claude. And I'm
You
saying,
no, you
I
should not
did,
have said
and I
that
would
as
say
a
it again.
Christian
And let's,
purposefully to somebody, because to say something hateful to somebody as a
it's
Christian
not hate.
is wrong.
It's not hate. What is hate is to call out accusations about people about being pedophiles, hoping
Yes, and I didn't. Oh my goodness.
that the police will
And
find
so
out
you turn
and take him to jail.
around and
That
you
is
you
that
attack
is hate. I
you
didn't
attack
attack
the
him.
person.
I didn't even attack him. I just said that I'd rather spend 2 hours with Christian debating evolution, which I believe is false, than spending 10 minutes with a guy that speaks insults from the moment he opens his mouth.
No, you didn't say that.
Great. Yeah. Yes. So he didn't say that. This is just wonderful. Thank goodness for having these conversations recorded.
Well,
You did not say that in the chat. You did
That's
not say
exactly
that.
what I said. And I have
Okay,
proof.
hold on.
And
Now
I have more proof.
now I'm going to
and
go get my glasses and pull it up.
I have more proof on what you are telling me that I'm doing with Ghost, who is above you, who I banned from my channel when we met, and then I told him I will take you seriously, and I'm unbanned.
Yes, one of the we know all about how they gang up on Mr. Ghost. Fortunately, he has good support from people who actually have morals. Anyway, we'll go forward a bit further.
Way,
You
Christian,
see
just
it later.
keep in mind, brother Christian, that this whole thing, being close to it and around it, has maybe given the wrong impression to Stump. Give him some room. And yes, you should discuss. I understand what you're saying. His actions after it, maybe he should have approached you. I understand that. Maybe he is wrong there, but he's not wrong when it comes to the mockers. They exist.
I'll tell
to
you
mock.
exactly where he was wrong, Achilles, or where he started out. He's been wrong the whole time, but I'll tell you where he started out being wrong. When he got upset over what he perceived to be the case, which was false, but I understand that he perceived it. When he got upset over that, what he should have done is said, "Hey, Christian, it looks like this. Can you explain this to me?" That's what he should have done. That's what the Bible commands him to do.
I'll accept that. I'll accept that.
Well, I hope so, because it's clearly scriptural. I hope we don't have to argue about the scriptures.
No, I'll accept that. But even what
What
we are
he
doing,
needs to do is reach out to me personally. If he's gonna say, "Well, I can be friends with who I want to be friends with, I'm pack up my toys and go home," well, then you're a child, so stop hosting a Christian show.
Yes, good point. And of course, this whole thing is full of that, and of course, Achilles, he won't go on a show now, apparently, if I'm on there, and all this sort of nonsense. But you can hear from yourself how he dodges. difficult questions and sticks up for people who just unbelievable. Okay, and then finally, just to show a little bit more about how he can't ever come up with examples, let's just listen to this before we finish this part of the show. 319 and yeah.
That I've heard rebuking from Missing Mod. I've heard it in this channel, and I will give her credit and for her patience today and her silence. There is a lot of things that came out of his mouth, and he got a response from Missing Mod. So I don't know where I got that. Probably I don't have examples.
Right, correct. You have none.
Yep.
Yeah, once again, I don't know where I got that from. I don't have examples. And the person speaking to him, holding his feet to the fire, as it were, says, yes, you have none.
So anyway,
Yes, I don't think there's much point. If you want to listen to, it's a very long stream, but it is very interesting, and you really get the measure of people. And the good thing is, you don't have to say, "Oh, do I believe what I say, or do I believe what Achilles says?" You have it all here in front of you, and I've given you extracts, and to make my case, and to show that I am telling the truth, because the truth is actually important to me. It doesn't really appear to be so important to a number of other, shall we say, characters. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to call it quits. And if anybody wants to, I'm up for a discussion on it. And of course, as is normal for me at the end, I will say, look, I can welcome anybody onto my channel. I don't play games. I'm concerned with the truth. And despite the things that I have shown to be true, I still welcome Achilles anytime to put his side of things and to have a discussion in a very friendly atmosphere, totally different to the Proverbs Guide channel, where I am just made out to be something awful because I'm apparently an atheist. Good night, everybody.